Let's dive right into the video for today. By the first quarter of 2024, trillions of dollars will likely pour into the cryptocurrency market. Prepare yourself for today's video, guys, as there will be a lot of action. David Cunningham said, "Everything is falling into place." Let's set the tone. He is the head of the city's digital assets and trade solutions. He talks about trillions on standby and how daily volumes in the cryptocurrency space will surpass trillions of dollars. "We will see trillion in daily volume," declared the head of Citibank. "We need your skills and assistance to enable regular players in the financial market, such as globally operating important banks like ourselves, to operate in this space. We are seeing large organizations use technology at a scale that has never been seen before, which is truly exciting. However, I believe that the most important thing to remember about all of this is that every aspect of operating in a regulated environment requires time, effort, coordination, and a lot of work. I'm particularly looking forward to watching this technology grow exponentially over the next few years, reaching billions of volumes and scaling every day. I'm rather interested to see how it is a very, very major deal that this technology will grow tremendously over the next few years into many billions of volumes and scale daily. Things are going to get hot. I'll quickly demonstrate to you how XRP's price will easily surpass $100 because, although I have no idea what will enter the market, it will be quite valuable. And see, we are generating news about Bitcoin. The first page has it. Of Bloomberg, Bitcoin rises by $42,000 as the cryptocurrency craze gains traction in retail. Currently, investors are waiting to buy. Awaiting developments, and they will purchase until everything begins to turn pink and falls into the ripple is integrated quietly everywhere in quiet place, people. Look at this. It was only released 12 hours ago. The Madako network combines Zodiac custody. The custodial Zodiac sounds familiar. Is that the same business that SBI LED funded back in April? Do you guys see how the SBI Japan SBI R3 is connected to all of this? Given that Ripple owns SBI Ripple Madako, what do you think? People, feel free to hit the like button, as it will return in 2020. Not to mention that Standard Chartered was among the initial investors. Standard Chartered and Northern Trust collaborated on the Zodiac. Into Ripple in addition to CM and Google. Ventures from earlier in 2015. It's a huge deal that not many people are aware of, so let's go on to Scott Lucas' video. We will see a major shift to tokenization. JP Morgan, the JP Morgan head of DLT, pays attention to what he has to say on how each asset class, real estate, bonds, derivatives, equities, and insurance, works. Pay close attention to them because 15 to 50% of the value in those sectors, a very, very large amount, will be tokenized. I believe that, aside from, regulated markets, a realistic percentage of each kind of asset class and each kind of market will eventually evolve into using this technology. It in an advanced manner over a decade, and a reasonable amount may be anywhere from the previously mentioned 10% to around 50%. I don't think that's what they're saying in literature when they say, don't miss out on crypto. This is why we recently had prominent bank executives preach. When I mentioned the $10 trillion that we process every night, if we consider the opportunity, those trillions are about to get tokenized. Just listen to a handful of these people. How do we go well beyond the $1 trillion mark? I would start with private assets. The global SP market is worth $290 trillion, and we already know what those assets are. I believe we can tap into this $330 trillion if we go there and attempt to construct compliant products. What, then, is it? Today's market is valued at approximately $1 trillion, give or take, and when you consider all the other assets in the world, well, it depends on whose report you believe. Which ranges from $300 trillion to $700 trillion, I firmly believe that everything can be tokenized. Therefore, since we haven't even discussed the non-payment systems Fedwire, in 2021 the value of chips was $500 trillion, and all those figures are far greater today. Compared to how things were in 2021, and now let's get started. Dissection of the basic foundation for crypto asset pricing that was assembled by a dark rock. This is an extremely significant document, valuation framework for crypto assets. A Ripple was created by Susan Atley and Robert Mitnick. Worker as of right now for an extended period. Why do I keep returning to this? As a result of their extreme conservatism toward XRP's price. Target had to be involved with Ripple at the time, and from what I can tell, they were pretty conservative when it came to the price they assigned to Bitcoin. We're about where they anticipated the low projections would be, at $45,000 today, and the highest estimate would be $93,000. We reached $69,000 largely due to the collapse of FTX. All that insane stuff from Luna Company hasn't shown any real benefit. They want to see a $32 XRP once we get to $556 billion in daily XRP volume, but you guys already have that. Those trillions of dollars are what I just heard. Things this market is going to be inundated with. And the most advantageous thing to come out of those billions will be useful tokens entering the market, meaning that XRP can only reach $600 if 30% of the entire 15% do so. Look at this, 15% of derivatives represent almost $90 trillion worth of global real estate. 15%, S&P 48 trillion, 15% of $1 trillion overseas debt, 15% 45 trillion bonds and insurance are not even on the table for discussion. Settlements, we are leaving a lot behind, without even exchanging words. About payments in this section, all right? Then, when we move on to their evaluation, as you can see, XRP has a daily volume of 556 billion. They stated $32 and that, with 100 billion XRP in circulation, the market capitalization would be 3.2 trillion. For this reason, I believe it to be quite conservative, yet, let's do the arithmetic immediately. That they most likely intended to accomplish but didn't, so why don't we tokenize stocks and real estate derivatives insurance bonds? However, only retail remittances were included. The figures for foreign exchange trading and corporate payments have significantly increased since they were last done. We acquired the daily FX market back in 2018. Surpassing 8 trillion times each day. Okay, so let's just pretend that we had a $1.7 trillion volume with 100 billion XRP in circulation. That would translate to a value of $98 per XRP and a $9.9 trillion market capitalization, which means that the $9.9 trillion market cap for XRP will be reached. 1,000,000,000%. There is not an if statement. That is not going to occur in any way. Trillion each. Now that we've established that you won't be abandoning this train, let's go on to the main attraction. We stated that there were $189 trillion in those four asset classes, but we won't even attempt to calculate it. Instead, we will take 30% of the 189 trillion, which gives us $56 trillion. With 100 billion XRP in circulation and a $42 trillion market capitalization, we obtained $7.2 trillion in daily volume. If 100 billion XRP are in circulation, that is. Is this completely insane? Not, and don't be the person on the other side of the screen who predicts that these statistics will never be reached. It will, but you must take that into account. 99% of you are going to be selling for $5, $10, and $20. $70, $80, $90, $30, $40, $50, $60, and institutions will eventually consume all of this XRP because, after the utility kicks in, non-institutional investors will be the main source of XRP demand, but the institutions that will be using XRP, all right, there will be numerous advantages to using. For example, suppose there aren't 100 billion. With this market cap, XRP is in circulation. What is XRP's potential worth? Now let's examine 90 billion XRP. Circulating, we're talking about $525 per XRP, or $466 per XRP, with 80 billion XRP in circulation. $60 billion in circulation, $700 per XRP, and $70 billion per XRP BTC, they claimed, cannot reach $100. XRP is not like that. Some of these figures might seem absurd to you, guys, but $30 for a dollar's worth of Bitcoin used to sound absurd as well. Many of you are unaware of the fact that the price of XRP has been declining since the beginning, and it has been extremely bullish. Prospects for XRP all in all, I want you all. You cannot create another XRP. What you have is an asset that is being examined by international organizations who are coordinating and taking an all-hands approach to it. Since you must go back and complete all of the work that XRP and Ripple have completed over the previous 10 years. There's a patent in force that you just cannot circumvent. Ripple may be able to sell their patents through licensing, but there are just too many crucial details that we need to. This episode contains this content because there are simply too many angles from which to view it, but even without counting trillions, this will be far larger than the stock market. Because it is more transparent than the stock market, the $100 trillion market will likely be far more transparent than the $1 trillion market. This is something we ought to promote. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that, okay, our human minds no longer function the way they once did. Nothing like this has ever been seen by a human. But keep in mind that trillions are on the way, which is why these powerful bank executives are making such a big deal out of spitting out trillions of dollars in every phrase. We'll return later with another movie about large banks and finance, Quit Being Illustrated. This is no sprint, this is a race. Institutions are far more eager to learn today than they were when we first introduced the product, which was 5 or 6 years ago. The first time as more businesses, like V, begin to incorporate digital currencies and XRP into their fundraising processes. They will exert tremendous pressure on banks and other financial institutions of a larger and larger size to begin utilizing this as well, or else they will be utterly destroyed. It's a lot better now than it was a few years ago, and along with that comes some big-name institutional acceptance, which will hopefully encourage others who may have been hesitant. But, XRP, it's really about this very basic demand driver. Yes, for XRP to become deeply ingrained in the financial system, its market capitalization needs to increase significantly, and it must be able to sustain institutional flows and orders worth trillions of dollars. As you may know, since more businesses, like V, began to use XRP and incorporate digital currencies into their funding flows, it has shrunk significantly. The pressure they will apply to the bankrupt banks will be enormous, and we haven't even discussed the non-cash payment systems. We had Fedwire at nearly an outro. With the hypothesis that cryptocurrency liquidity will someday be able to facilitate reliable global payments, we began to create waves, enormous sums of money. Spiral, the website, was created so that users may recognize the advantages of our fiat-based. The switch to ODL could be made by the network. When the market reaches a certain level of maturity, and this is precisely the CLI switch is happening. I believe that what we're creating has you covered, and I know that it will solve a genuine issue. If somebody were to consider all of the tokens, I would advise them to recognize their value. If actual value and usefulness are being provided to actual customers, the token will have value.